Hello, Impact Asylum. My name's Fireguy, and this is not a hot fire. This is the long-awaited interview with Eli Drake and Lashley, guys. This is part of their huge press conference, media tour that they're doing a few days or a few weeks before Bound for Glory. So I want to give a few thanks before the video starts. A big thank you to the website, Old School Heel, Talon, everyone that helps run this place, this website. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this, to run this interview. Big thanks to Ross Foreman, the head of media relations at Impact, for giving us the chance and allowing us to attend the interview and ask questions. And big thanks to Eli Drake and Lashley themselves for giving me the time to ask them questions and make this interview happen. So before we hop in, I just want to mention that I did cut out me asking the questions, so the questions are just going to be on screen, and I'll add subtitles when needed for Eli Drake's and Lashley's answers. So hopefully you enjoy, guys. This was an awesome experience. Hopefully you guys enjoy it just as much as I did, and I'll see you guys with a hot fire from next week. Alright, so for those that are new to the interview, my name's Fireguy from ImpactAsylum, and here's Eli Drake and Lashley, and we'll be running an interview for the upcoming Bound for Glory that will be happening in Ottawa in November 5th. So I'll start off with the questions that are related to life before wrestling first.
I've been watching since before I can remember. I was watching since I was 3 years old. My dad watched it. His dad watched it. I remember yelling at the TV as I was about 3 or 4 years old. Nikolai Volkov was talking some trash and Hulk Hogan, and I was not having it. So it goes way back. And it just continued. Middle school, high school, everything. And when I was about 20 years old, I decided that was the time to take the plunge.
Mine was, I took almost a little different route. I was always a kid. Always a kid. When I was a kid. When I was a kid. When I was a kid. Always a kid. You're still a kid. When I was younger, I just traveled around. My dad was in the military, so we were all over the place.
Okay.
So I got exposed to wrestling not because I wanted to, because I had to. We only had one channel here in Germany. So we had to watch what was on TV. And at that time, being a kid and watching wrestling, it was we would go outside and fight and wrestle and try to mimic what we saw on TV as a young age. I think mine started out in about second, third grade. But then as I went through, I got into amateur wrestling. So at the time when I was in amateur wrestling, you had people like Kurt Angle that was transitioning over. So I always watched wrestling. So it was kind of one of those things where I never thought that I was actually going to be a professional wrestler. That's like watching a movie saying, "Oh, I'm going to be an actor."
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I was just, and then when it actually got presented to me, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I would do that. But that wasn't until I was at an Olympic Training Center. Kurt Angle got me to it.
Actually, my friends were telling me I was going to be a wrestler before I even thought of it, just because of the stuff. I was doing outrageous stuff, making shirts with my face on it, carrying around championship belts, cutting promos on people.
So you had a huge ego always.
Huh? I mean, yeah, maybe.
So was there any other career path you were thinking before wrestling? I know you were interested in MMA.
Yeah.
So
well, beforehand I went to college for business, so I graduated with a business degree, and I double majored in business and recreation administration. So I always wanted to own a gym. So fitness was going to be my life no matter what. So that's where I was going. But when you're a competitor, you gotta compete.
Yeah.
I mean, I had limited knowledge of what I wanted to do, how the world worked, et cetera, et cetera. To me, my dreams were always big, ridiculous things. I wanted to be in the NBA when I was in 7th grade. My mom hit me up and was like, you're about to go to high school. It might be time to start thinking about what you're going to do when you grow up. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to play basketball. She said, that's not realistic.
Oh yeah.
And looking back, now that I'm only 6'1", she's right. That was not realistic. But at the same time, when it came time to go to college, I didn't know what to pick as my major. So I ended up just doing general studies for a year and a half until finally I had to drop out just because of financial reasons. I never finished, and actually, thank God I never finished, because I see so many people in so much debt. I got friends who are sky-high debt and they got nothing to show for it. My aim at that point in time was just like, all I know I want to do is I want to be making at least X amount of money, and that's it. And then finally I was just like, after my first year of college, I put on 20 pounds, because I graduated high school, I was 165 pounds. I mean, I was lean. I was like the muscular guy in my friends, but I was still skinny. So like after that first year of gaining 20 pounds, I was like, oh man, if I can get over 200 pounds, I'm gonna start this wrestling thing. So a few months later, I was over 200 pounds, and I was like, forget it, let's go, let's do this. There was no other career aspiration, no other career trajectory. It's always been wrestling.
All right.
I'll go mine because I think mine's gonna be quicker and shorter. See, he always wants to fight. He's violent, isn't he?
Well, he's
See,
a
for
wrestler.
me, I was at the Olympic Training Center, and Kurt Angle had come by and he was doing a vignette for the WWE. He saw me, he was like, man, you got a great look, you should be a wrestler. So that's kind of how it started with me. After some series of events, I ended up at OVW. So I trained down there in Louisville with under Simon Dean, and then I went to Lance Storm. There was a DeMont in there also.
Oh, how was that?
We got to talk about that. I didn't know it was that big. So DeMont was there for a little bit. I think maybe for just a few months. But it was mainly, Al Snow was down there. When I was down in OVW, there was a transition. And it went from one person to the next. It went from Eugene first, then it went to Simon Dean, then it went to Lance Storm, Bill DeMont was in there, Al Snow was in there. Everybody kind of jumped around because they were trying to figure out who the person was going to be for OVW. But I think Lance Storm was one of the ones that had one of the bigger impacts of my career. And then after that, I was on the roster. I was there for a year and a half. And because I was a bigger guy and I had the look that WWE wanted, they pulled me right on the roster. So I was on the road after a year of training.
That's how it worked, man. I should have gotten myself over that 230 mark. I had a job way back in the day. It took me 10 years. Let's do that long route. I mean, for me, it was like once I decided I was going to do it. I'm an internet addict, and so I go looking for answers for anything. And so in 2002, I was just like, all right, where should I go to train? Where shouldn't I go to train? There were no real answers, but I had seen that there were a lot of places that gave you garbage training. You pay X amount of dollars, they'd give you 3 months of BS training, and then be like, yeah, you're ready. And I was like, well, I don't want that. So I knew there was a place in my hometown, but I went to check it out. No good. So I knew that like OVW existed, they had a contract, and then a friend of mine told me about HWA in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I knew that they had recently had a contract, and I figured if WWE can trust their guys to go train there, then that's where I want to go. So I spent a few years there, moved to LA, that went wrong, went back to Ohio, back to LA, and after 10 years finally signed a contract to go to WWE. A lot of struggling, a lot of being broke, but then finally I got to go there, I got to do a lot of things in my career until I hit that speed bump with Bill DeMott, and then I was back out on my ass. But only a few months later got picked up on the tip of somebody from WWE who was like, hey, I think we're missing an opportunity with this guy, you guys should take a look at him. Brought me in, had a little dark match, and here I am a couple years later, Global Champion. Yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first time I remember doing a spot for the first time in training, and it was a high, and especially because I'd just moved to Cincinnati. I didn't know a lot of people. So I had actually just set up a date with this girl, so I was really excited to go see a girl. But at the same time, he was my other girlfriend, wrestling, and I ended up postponing the date because I needed to go to wrestling training. And when I did that spot, it was more intense than any encounter would have been with that girl. I just got to tell you, it was exciting. It was like a dream come true. But then when you take that and you move it into a show atmosphere, they were very good at. I kind of picked it up very well and having like a good look as far as like the body and whatnot. They kind of threw me in after only 3 months of training, but protected me. So it wasn't like, hey, go have a 20-minute match with this guy.
Yeah.
It was a 6-man match.
All right. Yeah.
And I was very well protected. But then probably a couple months after that, I think I had a singles match. I wasn't blowing the doors off anything, but I was able to hold my own and make it look pretty good. It was amazing, you know, to get the crowd reaction and work with it. Amazing, second to none. It's something I'll remember for a long time, for sure.
First match. First match. First match on TV. First match on
Ever.
You know, there's one match, and to this day, Lance will always comment on this. I was in OVW, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was a big dude, so they were like, pick him up, slam him, pick him up, slam him, clothesline. So that's all I needed to know. This is easy. If I can make my career out of clotheslining people, that's easy. Because that's all they have you do. You know, at first. Then I had a match with Lance Storm in practice, and Lance is amazing. I had this whole match with Lance. I mean, and it was just the people in the audience, like Mickey James, Johnny. We had a really cool group in that time at OVW. So we're all in there, and we're having this match, and the match is going great. I don't know what's going on. I'm just a person that's in the match going crazy. All the way to the end, and the last part of it was Lance was going to jump off the top, and I was supposed to catch him at cross body, and then I was supposed to pick him up and hit him with my finish. The match is perfect. And my bird's here. The match was perfect. And then right there at the end, here's the grand finale. I mean, everybody's into it. We're just in the training facility. Everybody's into it. Lance climbs up to the top. He takes the dive. I catch him and stumble, fall right on my back. And we joke about it all the time. But that part was amazing. When I got on the road, my first match was in Toronto. And it was one of those things where they put me on the road, so I was only doing the dark matches. I wasn't supposed to be on TV.
All right, yeah.
And that particular weekend, I go up there. I was literally just going to come there and go to catering. So that's what I was going to do, hang out in catering, watch the show. I went up to the board, and they're like, Bobby Lashley versus Simon Dean. And I was like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be going out there? It's a packed crowd in Toronto. 17,000 people, and they're putting me out there. I was like, man, this is amazing. But, you know, it's like he said, I was protected. And they put me with people that were just phenomenal. So my first one was against Simon Dean, which is a day off. It was so easy. All I had to do was be out there. But it got over really well when I came out. There was a lot of energy, and from then I just had to go. And you know, I was a Heyman guy kind of. So Paul was the one that was kind of mentoring me through this, because Paul came towards the latter part of my time in OVW, and he was doing the writing. And Paul came in and he comes up to me, and I'm sitting there like a deer in headlights. I'm freaked out because I'm about to go out there. And he said, hey man, he said, the one thing about wrestling is take your job seriously, but don't take yourself seriously. It's good. He said, just go out there and have fun. You can't. Yeah, as wrestlers, if you're too scared and tired, you're never gonna have fun. You're never gonna perform. So he said, just go out there and have fun. And that's what I did. And from there, it just kind of rocketed for me.
Nice.
I think it depends on the independent show. I mean, I've been to some shows where you go down there and there's a lot of ego. These guys that are little local stars that are like walking around with this. But then I've been to some shows that it was the coolest experience that I've had. I mean, the last show I did here, what was it, Windsor?
Was it Smash Wrestling in
Smash
Toronto?
Wrestling, yeah, Smash Wrestling in Toronto. It was a great time, and the whole show was phenomenal. I was like, man, how do you guys not have every one of you guys on, I said this, on TV, but they have their own TV out there. Those guys are awesome. And I've been to a lot of independents that are really, really cool. It's a different way of working the crowd. I mean, when you're on TV, you have to work the TV. When you do independence, you're working the crowd. It's more personal. It's fun. So, that was my experience with it.
You can throw them down. I'm here. For the, you talk about I mean, some of the independents, I mean, I don't know if you had the same experience as I did, probably not as extensive, but like I've been to shows where there were more guys in the locker room than there were in the crowd.
Yeah.
So my first few shows were that way. So it's quite a different experience, but at the same time, we got so much going on right now. You see this? I think one of those is for me. Hey, I need a box for that.
One of these is for later, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so you're seeing the inner workings here right now. Dinner's happening. At this point, it's kind of like the big difference with Impact from an indie is all the production value. When you look at the lights, the trons, and all that. It's just the way that it's run. But I mean, I don't know, man. Indies are fun. Impact's fun. It's all a little different, but at the same time, it's all wrestling at the end of the day.
Sure. So now we'll move on to questions related more to Impact Wrestling.
I spent 2 times with Impact. The first time that I was with him, it was a while back when I left WWE. I was actually in talks with coming back to WWE after spending some time off. And we were talking, and then the talks kind of like faded, and then TNA started talking, and I was kind of talking to both at the same time. And then I was going to go back to WWE. Then I didn't hear back from them for a little while. And then all over online, they were former world champion coming back, but nobody thought it was me because I was kind of like, I was just not seeing everybody who I was fighting. And then I remember I got in a plane to fly to pay-per-view when I was first coming back. I finally get a call back from WWE to see where I was, and I didn't answer, and I went to TNA and I started, and I went with it. On the indies, I'm gonna throw out some names for the indies because I've worked a couple of these guys. I like Speedball, Mike Bailey. I like that dude. It was pretty cool working with him. I think he has some potential. And you know what? Another kid that I like is Joe Somebody. Did you work him?
Joe Somebody?
Somebody?
Is that his name, or you just forget his name?
Joe Somebody.
No, you know what I'm talking about? Somebody? Joe Somebody. He came to one of our tapings. He's one of I don't know where he's from. But the kid's good. He has a good look. I squashed him. I had to squash him.
Is his name Somebody?
Yeah, his name is Joe Somebody.
That's the worst name ever.
No, but I think it was a play on something else. But I think the kid has.
Hi, I'm Stephen Person.
He is I am him. I don't know. I like the guy. I thought he was. He came out there and. I mean, I threw him around a little bit, but I think he had a good look. And he worked really well. He's easy to work with. I think that he has potential.
Easy to squash.
He's a good squash.
What about an Impact?
That's a hidden talent that somebody's
Well,
not.
you think should be pushed more up the card, I guess. you could say.
Underrated?
Yeah, underrated, yes.
Somebody. We don't have very many people that, if you're saying somebody that's sitting in the room eating catering, we don't really have that. We don't do that. Because if I say a name, you're like, well, he's on TV every week, so that doesn't really count. So
Yeah.
if you're talking about somebody that should be in the main event spot, I don't know. Because everybody that we have, we basically use.
Yeah.
So there's not anybody
Different
that's sitting
reasons,
back that's not being used
Yes.
right now. Yeah, here goes somebody. I mean, Tyrus, maybe. Tyrus wasn't really used. We had him.
Yeah. He's no longer with the company.
Yeah, I think Tyrus could possibly win when he was there. I mean, because sometimes you have somebody that's such an opposing figure that if you do something with him, you have to really like strategically make things. Because he's a big dude, so if you put him against some people, it's like, oh, he's gonna kill him right away. I don't know. Maybe Tyrus. I don't know, because like I said, everybody that we have, we basically use.
Well, for a long time, I would say myself, but
I agree with that. I agree with that. If you would have said that a year ago or whatever, I would have been like him. But you got to that point where you were trying to make everybody else, give everybody else a rub. Now it's like,
I was trying to rub him.
Destroying them.
As far as like the indies, I don't pay enough attention, but I know a couple guys personally who I know are pretty talented, but I don't think have gotten to shine on a national level for that much. There's a guy named Scorpio Sky who is I see him a lot of like wrestle service.
Yes.
One of my friends, so maybe I'm biased, but no, I mean we've had some good matches together ourselves too. So
I like that Desmond kid. Who about Desmond?
well, he's with Impact now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he won a trophy with us.
No, Greg. Desmond's Greg.
Yeah, I like Desmond. I think he's.
No, doesn't won the Super X Cup.
Yeah. Well, if he won the Super X Cup, would you say he's under it?
Well, yeah, because we could use it more. Doesn't matter.
I don't know. I mean, if he's being used, then he's winning cups.
He won a cup. I never won.
He won the cup.
I never won a cup.
I didn't win a cup either.
But I advocate for the website that we wanted you to be pushed a lot more in the last year.
Who's
That's
that?
a lot.
Him? Me
No,
too.
no.
Man, I wish they put me more. Yeah, so that's my answer. And your answer. And those are all the answers?
Alright.
I knew one thing. There's going to be a really big return. Who you talked to?
We're just talking about
The big return.
spoiling stuff?
That's gonna be one. Outside of that, there's gonna be some great matches. There's gonna be some train wrecks. There's gonna be some.
There's gonna be some train wrecks.
Yeah, my match is gonna be a train wreck.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one. It might be a cool train wreck. But it's gonna be a train wreck. I think somebody might get really, really hurt. I don't want to put that on anybody. That might happen. It's gonna be. I think every one of the matches are great matches, and I think every one of the matches are really gonna get the crowd into it because everything's gonna be great. We're in a cage with some guys that are naturally in cages with fighting, and some of the guys that are naturally understand what they want to do, and then you have Moose. Moose is gonna try something crazy and try to kill himself so that he can beat me, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But I think all the way across the board, all the matches are gonna be great. But there are gonna be some. There's gonna be a good return, and then there's just gonna be great matches.
Are you aware of a pre-show happening for Fireguy, like Slammiversary? Or?
You know something that we don't?
No, I was just wondering because Slammiversary had a kind of pre-show to it, and I was wondering if Bound for Glory would have a pre-show.
We'll never know until we get there.
No, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of show up and do that. I'm getting into the inner workings that much. Well, we're about to team up, and we're going to take over the whole company. This is the new ownership regime. Ed's kind of putting the ball in our court. Bobby Eli Drake.
Yes.
And it's going to be a wild time.
Like Tubbs and Crockett.
Yeah.
That's our plan. But another plan, man. We're out here in Ottawa. Okay. I guess Ottawa is kind of a new market for everyone, and we're coming down here. We're looking for a new home because we've been in Orlando for a long time. And Orlando's cool, and I mean we know everybody in Orlando, but now we're in Ottawa. So coming up here, that's when we came up here a little earlier. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of media, but we're gonna go out and meet a whole bunch of people from Ottawa also.
Home? I have no home.
We're drifters.
Hunted, despised, living like an animal. The jungle is my home. Ed Wood, ever saw Ed Wood? No, I don't know. Like the new home thing's kind of. I think we need to make a few new homes. I like still having Orlando, maybe in Ottawa. New York, I think, was pretty kind to us the last time we were there.
New York was fun.
So yeah, I mean, I think we got some options. We should exercise them. But as far as moving forward, it's just get the brand under as many eyes as possible, and that includes while we're here in Ottawa. So we need to bring in new eyes. Oh, mama, here we come.
There she is.
But,
you guys ready on your side?
Here, you go ahead and just bring that right here. Right here.
Stick it like it.
No, I got this.
Don't worry about
Don't
it.
grab
It's like a
it.
facial.
I'm going to touch this right here. Tabitha, you see what this is right here? Sizzling.
Sizzling.
Sizzling. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing at all. I'm going to put that right here.
What you did.
That's right. I'm going to go ahead and set that down right there. Let it sizzle. Why?
How are you thinking?
Good, very good.
Because why not? No, but you know, here in Ottawa, we're gonna have 5 days of tapings. If we can get new people in, new eyes on the product, that means more people watching on TV. More people watch, more money comes in. That's more money for him. That's more money for me. It's more money for everybody. The company grows. That's more enjoyment for the people. If we get more money, you get more enjoyment, right?
Yeah, and there's so many wrestlers out there right now. Like when you ask somebody in the independents, and I said Mike Speedball, it's like
And Joe somebody.
yeah, and Joe somebody
Doesn't it?
he's gonna be successful because of that. But there's so many guys that are amazing wrestlers and they don't have a place to wrestle because there's WWE, there's us, there's Ring of Honor, and it's like there's some places that are gradually building, but when you talk about putting somebody in there and not being able to pay them, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So what we hope to do is build a brand that's big enough that we can start moving up and moving up and moving up. So, you know, there's more people in Ring of Honor, more people in the Impact, and then we want it to be a thing where people aren't so just draw on a WWE fan. No, you're not. You're a wrestling fan. If you're a wrestling fan, you need to watch our show. You need to watch our show, Ring of Honor show, and every other show out there, so that we can, like you said, bring in more money, have more wrestlers, do more things, and just have more fun. The outreach. We can go to different places and do bigger things.
That gives power to the performers. Power to the performers is power to the people, as they say, yes?
So coming back to what you said earlier about Impact trying to find a new home, where would you like Impact?
I said that.
Well,
Why are you giving him?
I just say,
I said it.
why?
Go ahead. But let him answer my question.
Yeah, let me answer that.
where do you want Impact to go next? Either country or a specific place?
Ooh.
I always like the Philippines. I actually wouldn't mind going there. I don't even think we have TV over there. Though. Can we get TV over there? So we go to the Philippines?
Yes.
I mean, look, I would like to go back to the UK. I was there in early 2016. That was a really fun time. I'd like to go to Germany. Just talked to them on the phone recently about the TV deal we got over there. Of course, all across the U.S. I mean, to get to go anywhere close to where I'm from in Maryland would be cool. To go out on the West Coast. I don't know, man. I mean, if we can keep expanding and keep getting, like I said, more eyes, more places, that's the name of the game. And then the Philippines.
All right. So
Why the Philippines?
It's the crowd is insane. There's just some.
You worked over there too?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was like a ladies thing. Like those Filipino chicks. Yeah.
Is there any places you would like to go at Impact?
Man. I mean, you know, we went to WWE, we traveled all over the place. So if you're asking where I want to go, is if it's a place to go visit, I think we need to have shows in Brazil and Colombia. I'm just saying.
I agree with the Brazilian point of view.
But as far as crowds, I mean, UK's always a good crowd. Canada's always a good crowd. I mean, so for us being performers, we want to go to the place where they're going to be the loudest and the rowdiest. We don't want to be in a place where everybody's going to think, oh, okay, we're just going to sit and watch, you know, rowdy crowds. So anywhere there's a rowdy crowd, we'd like to be.
Loud and proud, everybody. Well, I think it's going to give more access to people who are already fans of our show. And I think that also when they can kind of maybe take it with them, watch it wherever they are, people can see what they're looking at. Hey, what is that? Oh, this is Impact Wrestling, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets to turn on, again, fewer people, more eyes, more people. So I think it's an awesome tool. And I think it's something that can only help to expand the business. Expand our business, expand the business in general.
I think it's going to be pretty cool because our library, you know, other people want our library.
Huge.
We have an extensive library with a lot of people that you're seeing all across the board right
Other
now.
people?
And the fact that you have that library, I think it's cool that we hold on to it and make it ours and then be able to give it to people instead of selling it to someone else and having them use it and take advantage of it.
Yes,
So
sir.
our library is incredible. I mean, just even when you just looked at the Instagram page, you look at different stuff, you're like, all the stuff you get on the app, there's going to be so much more. So when you have the opportunity to be able to see some of the matches from way back, some of the matches new, and everything, and the evolution of wrestling, you get to see how different things happen. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool to be able to have.
And you just mentioned being lots more stuff on the network, stuff from content from like AAA, the Crash, and stuff like that. And is that the goal for Impact as well, to expand just wrestling as a whole all around the world by adding all that content?
Should be. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we have some great minds behind our brand right now, and they're expanding quick. There's all kind of, every time I go online, Instagram or whatever, I see Impact doing something new. They don't even let us know before it comes out. It's just coming out because they're moving so fast, which is cool for us. We're like, all right, we got to tweet, hey, put out something about this ad so people know that we put the ad on. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. They're telling us stuff when we go to different tapings saying, we're doing this and we're doing that. We're expanding to Brazil. And we're doing different things like that. So
It's
always
Forte and
cool for us.
Cherativo, I believe is the name of the channel, if I got it correct.
Yeah, I
Right?
remember doing that one. Yeah, so it's cool. You want to expand the brand.
Yeah. And with the network being out, is there chances of having maybe like exclusive content be put up on there?
I would
Yes.
believe so. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I would have to imagine so. Because I mean that's something that's going to draw people in. If you have exclusive
Yeah.
content that's just exclusive, yeah. If you're just regurgitating the same stuff that people have already seen, then there's not as much of a draw as if you put stuff that's app exclusive.
All right. So now the next questions have all come in from different users from the website.
Uh-oh. I just designed my last 3 shirts on my own.
I don't even have a shirt.
Yeah. If you pay me right, I'll design it for you.
I'll pay you.
All right, cool. Let's do it. We'll figure it out. And then as far as like I don't know, stuff on the mic and whatnot. I mean, they used to give me scripts, but I never used any of it. So I mean, I take bullet points from it, and I'd just be like, yeah, this. I don't know. To me, the best time in wrestling was when guys were talking from themselves.
Yes.
Now they had bullet points. They knew what direction they were going in, and they would go and word it the way that they would word it. And that's kind of the same school of thought that I'm in. And so the beauty is that it's a tight ship to a certain degree, but at the same time, there is a level of freedom.
Do you have that creative freedom as well, like in the ring with the in-ring work, or is it more?
Always.
Like-
I've never been anywhere where we didn't have that.
Right.
You have to, because they can tell you what to do, but when you go out there,
Yeah.
you got to do it.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where one of my favorite quotes is, it's better for somebody to tell you to slow down and speed up. So for us, when we go out there, it's, you know, like you said, we get kind of bullet points a little bit here, but if you go out there and mess up, then you're going to have to say it a little bit tighter to what needs to be said. But if you know what you're doing, and you can go out there and still follow along with what's going on and continue on with what's going on, then you're good to go. And you get a little liberty here, and I like it.
Well, as far as the matches are concerned, you talk about there's no way to tell somebody how to do that. Let's say we're all together and we all have an easel and we've got paint, and somebody says, paint me a cabin in the mountains. We can all paint that. We're all going to get there, but we're going to take different paths to get
Yeah.
there. So as long as I know where I'm going, I can choose my route and still get you there.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's great for me. I don't know how some people like to be on the road every week. For me, I like to be able to go and do it all because I have kids
Yes.
and I have a family. So it's good for me to go in there and do everything and then get everything done, know what direction we're going, and I can start planning for the next time. And then when I have that time off, I can explore other avenues, whether it's film, acting, whether it's fighting like I do now, whether it's doing other shows. I mean, I think it's great. And then for us, we have a good time because, yeah, we bust our ass during the time that we're doing the tapings, and then like we always say, and we're going to continue on, and we want this to be bigger. We do kind of like a little, without just saying party bus, a little
Party bus.
relaxing. After we do a long taping, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And that's how we make our brand stronger because we have a good team. We have a good team of guys
Camaraderie.
that get along together. So we go out there and we know what the common goal is to make this show amazing. And that's what we do throughout the week. And then at the end of the week, we unwind.
Mhm.
We unwind. We have a good time and then we go home.
We
Then
don't
we
get ready. Work hard, play hard.
Yes.
I mean, it depends on the length of these tapings though sometimes. We've had like 9-day long
Yes.
spans where that can get kind of rough, where you almost feel like, man, 4 days on, 3 days off would be kind of nice right now. But no, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, even if it is 8 days, it's nice. Just because it's you kill yourself for those 8 days in the name of getting the absolute best product out there that you can, and then you get a little bit of time to recoup.
So is the in-ring work though just a bit different? Like knowing that you have no breaks, you might want to like think a match.
No,
like,
we don't slow
differently?
down.
No.
We don't slow down. Because, I mean, if you break, we'll put somebody else in.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about this. And I'm saying this with our roster because some of the guys, you know, you have beef with different guys in the roster. However, like even when we went through that transition, since you guys are more of an online thing, you guys probably talked about when we were having troubles with pay or whatever.
That was lots.
Okay, everybody's having talks with it, but if you watch the show, nobody was holding back.
Yeah.
We were going full board. We were cutting back. Oh God, we're like, can you guys get the pay situation? Because I'm still gonna go and do what I do. So now that everything is good with that, we're still going strong, man. And when we go out there, it's like we try to just better and better and better and better matches. So if we get hurt, you keep going. Ice it up and keep going. Because like you said, we have the 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 10 days, whatever it is. And then after that, I get to go home, put ice on everything, relax, collect the paycheck, and be cool. So there's no slowing down.
So this one's more of a trickier question. You were talking about how like us online, we react to everything we see on the dirt sheet, the wrestling site, stuff like
I
that.
wish you all would react as much to what you see on the TV as you do to what you read on the internet. I mean, not you particularly, but I'm saying in general.
I have a podcast where I review every week,
Dang.
the show every week. So,
Yeah.
well, how true is most of the news that we see on those
Fake news.
sites? Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a very, very broad question.
Yeah, it's very broad.
I mean, I would say take a lot of it with a grain of salt. I mean, there's always
Yeah.
a little bit of truth to a lot of the stuff that you're reading, but at the same time, it's not always to the level that you read it, because if it
Totally.
was, we would have shut down years ago, because, 2 years ago, everything, we're shutting down, it's over.
Yeah.
Last year, we're shutting down, it's over. This year, we're shutting down, it's over.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like, I'm just not even listening to it anymore.
Yeah. Well, even us on the website, it's just a running joke now.
Yeah, so I mean,
I stay oblivious to it most of the time. Like I don't even know. I never know. Like a lot of times I get a message saying, like when the we're gonna shut down thing happened, I came in and everybody was like, there was buzz going around. I was like, what's everybody talking about? They're like, oh, we have this and we have that. I didn't know what was going on. So
I'm just gonna show up, kick ass, do the best I can,
Yeah.
and that's about it. I can't really worry about the inner workings. If I worry about it, what's that gonna change? It was my idea. I created the whole thing from the start. It was me. It was me all along. I have no idea. I have no idea to answer that question, and I don't think that the heel turn was planned the whole time. I think it's just that for whatever reason, people look at me. They're like, "That's a heel." I don't know what it is. I think I'm a big old sweetheart. The biggest baby angel face you've ever seen in your life.
savage, savage.
But yeah, I don't know. So it was a natural.
What's his name?
What? What's my name? Well, I mean, is that the only thing I said? Like 58 catchphrases. It's just dumb stuff I say in my regular life. So like, I'll just start saying things, and then the cat will stick, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna use this. Although then again, if there's been a while, sometimes I have a note in my phone now where I have to be like, what do I say again? I don't even remember. But yeah, I mean, it's sometimes I'll like read things, or I'll listen to a radio show and I'll hear somebody say something that's just like a one-off statement for them. But then I'm like, oh wait, that was kind of cool, and I might take it, twist it, whatever, reuse it.
All right.
So he's saying it's not his own material.
Don't listen to him.
But the facts of life. See, I like that. I like the facts
I don't
of
know.
life.
Apparently we
Lots of
don't do
people
that anymore. I guess. I don't know.
Ross. Okay.
Not for Lashley's questions.
Oh.
What's the routine to balance pro wrestling and MMA, and how is it to like change from sport to sport? Like we see others like Moose change from sport to another. How's the routine?
Yeah, Moose is changing from football to wrestling. That's completely different things. I went from wrestling to wrestling. Fighting and wrestling is the same thing.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. So for me, and I say this over and over again, I just train for one thing. I just train for. I mean, I'm not training for fighting, but I train more functional fight training. So to me, I don't have to like switch to train for wrestling. I just, when I have a fight, I ramp it up a little bit. When I wrestle, I ramp it up a little bit. And I just kind of focus a little bit different. Like with wrestling, some of it, a lot of it is appearance based. So this month, I'm gonna put in a little bit more calories, training a little bit more.
Go ahead.
Maybe bulking up a little bit.
Go ahead.
With fighting, I want to stay a little leaner on the. My fights I've been fighting at 240, and when I'm normal doing ring stuff, I'm usually around 250, 255.
Nice. So now,
They say 278. 278. 278. That's what
They
said 278.
Man, I wrestled a dude last week in Windsor. He was easily 205. They built him at 240. I said, they built him as weighing more than me, and he was easily 20 pounds lighter than me.
I did one of the indies, and they built him at 250, and they came over to me. They said, "How much do you weigh?" And at the time, I weighed 248. I said, 248. They said, "We can't put you at 248 because he's 250." And I was like, "He's 250.
Come on. Come on.
I said, "All right."
Sorry, we just took over.
so these last 3 questions are just really quick questions. They're mostly in character stuff questions.
I don't know what you're talking
So, Eli, why have you not been sponsored by a gravy company yet?
Well, I need to adopt a dog first, and then I might be able to get a gravy train sponsorship and gravy train dog food. But we'll see when that comes up. My dad makes fantastic mashed potatoes. That's something that came up. I'm telling you, it's the creamiest mashed potatoes you've ever had in your life. I'm trying to get him to come to Bound for Glory and
Just make that
whip him up right at the concession stand.
And for Lashley, we know currently right now on Impact you're with American Top Team, and will you return to a wrestling ring soon?
It's all about money, man.
It's all about money.
It's all about money. Like, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just doing what I have to do, feed my family. And this, if you're quiet in the wrestling business, nothing happens for you. If you try to play really PC and not ruffle any feathers, you don't do anything. Now I've been ruffling feathers. So right now I'm telling them, I am quitting Impact unless you guys pay me the bucks.
Look at you.
Period. I'm money hungry, bro.
Well, aren't we all?
If you don't pay me, I'm not doing anything.
I bow at the altar of the
I'm not doing anything. And right now, Bellator's throwing some big numbers out.
Uh-oh.
So, Anthem,
Did you just get a
I get the W, yeah.
All right, and last question, probably the most important one.
Uh-oh.
Who would win in a fight between both of you?
Well, I think that's pretty obvious.
How about you answer that one?
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins. You know what I say as far as fighting? I've been fighting, so you're like, oh, Bobby is spear, he fights, everything like that. But in a fight, man, you never know. You never know in a fight, because we were just talking about it before. I have skills in fighting, but if we start a fight, we get head to head, and and I go down, who won the fight? He won the fight. So fighting's very subjective, man. Nobody. There's no such thing as the best fighter.
I mean, like in wrestling terms.
In wrestling, if we just had an amateur wrestling match,
Or just wrestling. Like
pro wrestling, it depends on what the rider. The good thing about the good thing about the both of us, and this is why I can respect him. If you had one of the other guys here, a baby face down here, I'm like, whatever. Just like he said, when he started out, he did whatever it took to win that title. And that's what some people don't have in the wrestling business. And whether it's character or not, cheat, steal, I'll stab you, I'll cut you. I don't care if the ref turns his back for a second, I'll hit you with anything that I can find to knock your ass out so I can win the title. And I think we're on the same page with that. You got to be a savage in the ring and outside the ring.
Savage.
So that wraps up what I have here. So thank you for your time.
Pleasure, man.